You're the one who mentioned Bryce Young as well. And so we saw what Dalton did last week, and now Andy Dalton's going on his tour of former teams, Cincinnati first, Chicago next, right? And then, so honestly, like, what is the metric by which Bryce Young would actually get back in after what we just saw, right? I mean, you got a guy who just spun it up. They're 1-2. And what's your take on what the aftermath of week 3 was for the Panthers before I let you go, Tom?
If the Panthers are winning, Andy Dalton's not coming out of the lineup. That's the simplest way that I can put it. With Bryce Young, there is still a belief in him. They still think this guy can develop into being the guy that they drafted number 1 overall. It just wasn't something that they could sell in the locker room based upon those first 2 games. And so they go to Dalton. If, the next 3 games, if they're 2-4 and Dalton's just being mediocre, you'll see Bryce Young back in there. If they're 4-2 in those games, I don't think you're seeing Bryce Young anytime soon. Dave Canales has a lot of veteran players who've seen stuff in that locker room. It's, Adam Thielen just went on IR, but it's Deontay Johnson and Jadeveon Clowney is on that team. Some of those veteran dudes, like, they know. The players always know. And what they saw last week was Andy Dalton functioning in an offense that looked dysfunctional with Bryce Young at quarterback. So there's no reason to rush Bryce Young back into it. It's definitely jarring when you see Andy Dalton walk into the sideline and Bryce Young's job on game day is basically to hand Andy the iPad or the Microsoft Surface tablet, excuse me. Yes. That's humbling. There's no doubt about it. But Bryce Young's a humble guy already. It's not as if he came in here and thought he had nothing to work on. It just hasn't worked out to this point. There's a long history, Rich, of quarterbacks getting benched early in their career, and even guys who ended up being Super Bowl winners. Guys like Terry Bradshaw and Troy Aikman, John Elway. Like, these guys got benched early on in their careers, and they came back and they did it. With Bryce, it hasn't looked like he's an NFL quarterback so far. Like, if you took the nameplate off and just said, "Hey, that's not to bag on it, but that's PJ Walker out there," you go, "Oh, okay, about the same size." Kind of stumbling, not great so far here. He hasn't looked like the number 1 overall draft pick. It's still early in his career. Look at all the other high draft pick quarterbacks who right now are playing better for other teams. The book is not written on Bryce Young, but right now Andy Dalton holds the pen.
You're the man. Thanks, Tom. By the way, you can call it an iPad here on this show.
Hey, I'm very conscientious of the sponsors, okay? We love our Microsoft Surface tablets.
I know that.
That's not one right there.
No, I know. But you should stay in that habit, because if you get out of practice here, maybe you'll say it on the wrong spot on NFL Network. So
that's correct.
I'm
Microsoft Surface tablets.
Yes, indeed.
Love Microsoft.
There you go. Tom Pelissero, everybody. He's going to be sitting in this chair for a lot next week while I'm in London, but I'll zoom in every now and then to make sure everybody's on the up and up. Thanks, Tom. You be well. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku Channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.